everyone, Lisa here, aka Maggie Milo. I'm showing you what I have left of my this is my April Studio Calico kit. It's called Spencer's. And I don't have very much left, and I probably could get one more layout out of here if I brought in another piece of cardstock, but I'm really exhausted with this kit. It was not my favorite kit that we've gotten. I didn't really care for the colors. I didn't really care for the embellishments and stuff like that. So I had a really hard time getting the layouts made. I like the papers individually, so they'll probably be incorporated into some of my other layouts. But as for the whole kit together, I found I had to add a lot of embellishment to it and add a lot of extra different pattern paper to what was here just to try and get something that I liked out of it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just getting to the point here where I'm getting a little frustrated with the kit, and to me, when you get to frustration, and I've left this kit for probably about a week to see if I could think of other things that I could possibly do with it. And I think I'm just at that frustration level with this kit that I just can't possibly do anything else with it. So there is not any single sheets of paper left. They're all gone. So I have a couple bigger pieces of scraps. Like, this is the biggest piece here that I have, and you know, like, the black background could definitely be used as matting and stuff like that. And I really like this side. And there's this piece here, which this side was okay, and I used it on a couple layouts. And I'm not an orange fan, so you know, for me to use this, that was pretty amazing. And I really like this pattern paper. And this one's pretty much gone. See, like, here's another little strip of that paper, and it's, you know, cut into. This piece of paper here is the other side of that blue piece, and I don't have very much left of that. And this cork piece, and I really like this alpha side. And this was the problem I was having, and if you can kind of see, is I had a lot of these lighter blue pieces together, and not a lot of contrast between everything else that was going on. And I think that is kind of where my frustration level went to. Maybe it was bad planning on the kit on my part, but I just found that there was too many of these papers that kind of blended too closely together. I'll just pull it in so you can kind of see what I mean. They're really well neutral tones together, but they're not quite the same tone. And then as for this arrow print, I liked it and hated it all at the same time. I have used it on a couple of layouts, and I liked how it looked. And you know, the red side could be easily used as a mat. But it wasn't my favorite pattern paper. I thought maybe I would you know, see how it went, and it might become my favorite, but I wasn't overly thrilled with it. So that's the paper. As for the embellishments, I'm just going to pull out my little tray here. I actually used a few more stickers than I thought I would. I had a hard time using I think it was the Hey Boy stickers that we had last month. And these ones I used quite a bit more. Like, I have a couple here that are pretty neutral tone, or not neutral tone, but neutral base. Like, they don't have a theme to them. So they could definitely be added into some of the stuff that I have going on in other layouts. So, you know, they'll definitely be used up. For the cameras, I've got lots left, but again, those will definitely get used in my stash. I really like the cork feel to it. As for the washi tape, I don't have very much left. Look at that. There was a layout, and I'll show you that when I get towards the end, and I used a lot of this washi tape on it. I tried doing a process video on it, but my computer and I were having a bit of a fight that day. So I tried several times, and it was just past the point that I could even salvage any of the videos. So there is one layout here that's no video, but I used a lot of the washi tape. Then for the alpha, and the other alpha I stuck already in my project life. I think I only used it for maybe one title. I think it's back here. Yeah, like this is the other alpha, and I've used it on a couple project life layouts already, and I used it on one scrapbook page. So there's a lot left there, and there's a lot left of this light blue that I really, really like. So that will probably get, and I just had some extras that didn't quite fit on a layout, so quite is right there. So that I'm going to just kind of leave them on that so that they don't get lost. I used quite a few of these stars. I used this stamp set once, and I only used this smile, and that's it. I didn't use this here because I just didn't like it. So I only think I used that smile maybe once or twice. Oh, here's that N. And for speech bubbles, oh, maybe I'll do these ones first here. We had those, it was a package of the, what was it called? I think it was from the Hipster, or no, it was from the Hello, and it had like a whole bunch of these pieces in them. And this is all I have left is just these little slides. So I would say I did pretty good on these, considering I was really kind of iffy on them at first. So I was kind of impressed with that. And then for speech bubbles, I have lots of the speech bubbles left. I'm kind of getting a little tired of the speech bubbles. And there's just a little bit of a scrap paper. It just kind of seems like we get speech bubbles all the time. And it's getting a little annoying. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm just kind of finding the speech bubble thing has run its course. And like I tried cutting, like I cut this one, I cut the little tab piece off of it to make it like just a square. But again, I was still having a hard time with some of the colors. So, you know, it was just one of those kits that I wasn't overly happy with. And I think I had a hard time, you know, bringing that forth into my layouts to make them nice. So with that being said, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layouts finished. So that is not too bad in my books, considering you know, how I felt about the kit anyway. But like I said, I did have to incorporate a lot of other supplies just to stretch it a little farther to make me happy with it. So this is layout number 1, and I did a process video on it, and everything was from the kit except for these tags here, and this strip here, and this background, and of course this black cardstock. And then I believe there's a couple stickers here and chipboard pieces that weren't from the kit as well. And then this is an overlay that wasn't from the kit, and, you know, just some other little random bits that, you know, I pulled in. So that was the first layout that I did. This was the second layout, I believe. I think that was the second layout. Yeah. So just I wanted to do a very plain, simple layout. I had these 3 pictures and I wanted them in this orientation. The only thing, like I said before, is I wish I would have carried this pattern paper over into here, and I can't do that right now. Everything's all stuck down, and I like how it turned out, but I just wish I would have maybe carried the pattern paper over to this side a little bit. So, you know, lesson learned for next time. And then as for stuff from the kit, I think the only thing that I used from the kit was the washi tape and the pattern paper and these stickers here. And I think that's it. Everything else I pulled in from other pieces, like a lot of Amy Tangerine, Yes Please, and stuff like that. This was the third layout. And again, I added other things into it. I did keep a lot of the pattern paper and stuff like that that was from the kit. I added in this kind of star chart, as well as this blue pattern paper, which was an Amy Tangerine. All three of these layouts so far, they have process videos, so if you want to see it in more detail, just go back and look at it. And then there's some stickers and some wood veneers and stuff like that. But I kept this a little bit more to the kit. I still added a few more pieces in, but generally it's more of the kit involved with this one than versus the last one. Then this one here is the fourth layout. And this one here, I added in some other of my scraps and stuff like that. Like this was a scrap from a couple months ago. I think this was February. And then this scrap, I think, was from February or March. I can't remember. And then I added some Amy Tangerine of that fancy, like, chevron watch. Or it's like the POW glitter paper. And then this paper here is from my scraps as well. And then this is where I wasn't overly happy with how this part turned out. I like the elements of the arrows and how they're all over the place. I just maybe don't like the orientation of how this layout is. But I still like the idea of how it's all intermingled and it has a lot of depth and layering to it. Like if I tilt, let me just tilt the page this way. If you can see, it has a lot of dimension to it, and I like that part. And I hardly ever use any of my glitter, which really bothers me because I spent a lot of money on this glitter, and I wanted to finally just kind of put it on a page and see how it turned out. And I like the silver and the blue and the red glitter. I like all that. So, like I said, there's elements of this that I really, really like and elements that I don't really like. And I think we're worst critics when it comes to our own scrapbook pages. But, you know, it's whatever in our mind that we see we like. So, anyway, this one was an iffy one for me. So that was number 4. Or was that 5? I'm sorry, that was 4. Oh, I guess I only did 6 pages. I thought I did 7. I actually did 6. So this is number 5. And there is a process video for this one as well. So this one I was kind of getting to the end. And I said I had that same problem with a lot of the tone-on-tone papers. So this one was kind of a little bit more towards, you know, the bluer tone. Oh, this bee is falling off. I used the vellum paper to kind of act as my photo mat. I found the vellum paper I have a hard time with vellum, and I found all of a sudden, I don't know, it kind of clued into me that when you use it on the darker cardstock or patterns, it shows that pattern through a lot through. I don't know why I didn't think about it before, but you know, sometimes your brain doesn't click into things so quickly. But I like the fact that it just kind of, you could see the pattern of the hexagon, and that was kind of what was bothering me, is it was this beautiful hexagon vellum paper, but there was no, you couldn't really see it in any other of my layouts, and you can see it really well in this one. And I wanted to kind of add, oh, it's not focusing. There we go. So I kind of wanted to add a little bit of texture up in here, so I used a star mask. And, you know, I think pretty much everything is from the kit here, except for maybe the alpha. And I think that was the other hard thing for me, is because usually we get a bigger font and then a smaller font. And this time we got 2 tiny fonts, and it was like, well, you know, how do I get a title out of 2 tiny fonts? Sometimes I want my photo and my title to kind of float into each other, and sometimes, you know, I want a chunky title rather than a smaller one. You know, I guess it depends on the page, but sometimes a bolder title is kind of what I'm going for. and the smaller font is a little harder to use. So, with that being said, I definitely had to dive into my stash to supplement for these bigger titles. But other than that, I did use a couple speech bubbles up here, so yay. I found them really, like I said, really hard to use. Again, some more of those pieces from the kit. So I did get, some more of them used up. I don't know if I used them on every layout. I used it on the first one, I believe. Yeah, this first one, and then this one, and then this last one I used. Well, I used 2 on this one. I just cut this one in half. So that one was layout number 5, and this is layout number 6. So you can see where I used a lot of the washi tape on this one. Because I didn't have any really more background paper, I decided I was going to make my own background paper, and I used the washi tape, which was kind of scary because I was like, ooh, no, I'm going to use it all up. But I made this whole 12 by 12, and I still, like I said, I still have a lot on that roll left. But I really like how this washi tape background turned out. I would say it's probably one of my new favorite techniques for kind of using the washi tape. I mean, obviously you wouldn't be able to use it on the smaller rolls. You would have none left. But I really like the dramatic pattern in the background. And that's, I guess, another hard thing for me is to use these big, bold patterns in the background. But I kind of forced myself to use it because I wanted to get this, to make a pattern paper out of this washi tape. I really like that effect. Again, I used a lot of the pattern papers. I don't think I pulled anything else pattern paper-wise. This is actually a Studio Calico card that we usually get in the kit, saying the new collections that are coming out. And this one was for the Atlantic collection. So I just kind of made, a little bit of a photos. I cut it, it was only like this big, so I cut it in half so that I could stretch it out a little bit over the paper so your eye thinks that this pattern goes all the way across, and it really doesn't. So again, I kind of used some of the scrap pieces of paper that I had left, and I used another one of these photo pieces in the back here. And I just layered everything with this kind of diamond blue pattern. And that way you could write and not have to worry about, I wanted to kind of have it a little bit more, instead of it being a see-through element, I wanted it to be a little bit more a solid element. So that's why I backed it with pattern paper. And I just used glossy accents, and if you put enough on here and just spread it out, it seals it really well to the paper, and you don't see that glue line to it. So you just have to make sure you spread it out and just get a good solid rub on it so you can kind of spread the glue around. So I really like this layout. And just to kind of explain this layout maybe a little bit better, just because there was no process video on this one. This title says Not Quite Best Friends Yet. My son and I, he's 14, and I don't know if anybody else has 14-year-olds or has gone through the 14-year-old stage, but boys are starting to become men and starting to think that they know better than their parents. So we're kind of a little bit at odds with each other for right now. So I'm kind of hoping that we'll get past this phase and, be really good friends in the end. Just right now, we're just kind of a little bit of a power struggle between the two of us. And I kind of journaled about that here, that, we kind of have this little bit of a power struggle and how we're too much alike and stuff like that. So that's what my journaling is about. And, even though we do have a power struggle, I put, you can never have too much happy, because he does make me happy and I love him to bits. But it's just one of those awkward times in his teenage years and in my years that, we're going through. And I felt it was one of those things to document. about how we're kind of having a little bit of a power struggle, because maybe later on when he gets older, he'll read that and go, my mom and I didn't really get along, but now we do, and I feel bad, or I wish we would have got along better when I was younger, or something to that effect. So that's my little blurb about this particular layout. So I didn't overly embellish this one. I just kind of wanted this pattern paper to kind of pop out on its own. I might add a little bit more things here and there, but in essence, I could put this in my album, and I'm really happy with how it looks. So that is my little blurb on my particular my April kit. I keep saying March just because it feels like it should be March still. It's still kind of not great outside. But again, mixed reviews on this kit. It wasn't my favorite one for sure. So I'm kind of glad I'm moving on into the May kit, and hopefully, I'll create better pages than these ones here. So thanks for watching. Bye.